This is Sports Overtime.
Its first lead of the ball game.
I love my job. I love Michigan State.
Well, welcome into another episode of Sports Overtime. Thank you, as always, for joining us. The Michigan State baseball team hasn't had the best of luck against Big Ten opponents this season. The Spartans came into today's game against Northwestern having lost 6 straight games against conference opponents. But it only took one win to turn that frown into that smile. Game 3 had a lot of offense early as Mitch Jebb stepped up to the plate in a 2-run game, looking to tie things up with a runner on second. Easiest way to do that is just by blasting one over the wall in left center, tying this game up at 4 runs apiece, and getting the bench all fired up in the process. Some more fireworks came at the top of the 7th. 2 runners on for Brock Vandenberg, who crushes this one almost to the same spot as Jebb. That'll get 2 runners home as the Spartans' offense exploded this afternoon. The defense had to come up big and hold off the Wildcats from walking it off as Trent Farquhar gets under the final pop-up to end it as the Spartans win it 11-7 the final, getting head coach Jake Boss his 400th career win. And afterwards, he got a little emotional, sharing what this moment means to him.
I love my job. I love Michigan State. I'm proud to be the baseball coach here, and it's something pretty special, I think. So, I guess I never really thought about it until somebody said something afterwards. So, it's just an honor to be the coach here.
On the softball diamond, Michigan State had an opportunity to get its first series sweep of the 2022 season this afternoon. The Spartans shut out Purdue in the first 2 games this weekend, but there was a close call at the end of today's game that changed the way we think about umpires actually using their eyes. We jump to the top of the 2nd inning. Abby Joseph ready to make something happen. She pops one up to left center where 2 Boilermakers collide. That'll bring Katie Ladd home from second, and Joseph is held up at third with an RBI triple to make it 1-0. Then at the top of the 5th, runners on the corners, and Ladd blasts one through the infield. Alexis Barroso comes home from third to tie the game up at 2 runs apiece, but it would be Purdue who would have the last laugh as Olivia McFadden sends one right back through the circle as Rachel Brecker is trying to come all the way home from second. The throw is in time, but she's called safe as the Boilermakers would go on to win it 3-2 the final, avoiding being swept by Michigan State. On a professional diamond, the Detroit Tigers had a really fun day yesterday, getting to celebrate Miguel Cabrera's 3,000th hit of his career and being part of Major League Baseball history. But that excitement is starting to trail off when we come back to reality that the Tigers pitchers have been struggling to help them get wins this season. Now, Tyler Alexander got the start today for the Tigers, and he was doing okay through the first couple of innings. But then in the top of the 3rd, Randall Grichuk, recently acquired from Toronto Blue Jays, destroys this ball, his first home run as a Colorado Rocky, as Alexander put this one in middle outside, but Grichuk barreled it perfectly. The ball got gone in a hurry. The Tigers hitters would respond to the bottom of the 3rd as Austin Meadows sends this fastball down the right field line. That'll bring Tucker Barnhart home from 3rd, making it a 2-run game. And Meadows went a little too far, but got back in time for the RBI single. Then the very next half inning, the Rockies punched back. Charlie Blackmon hits a line drive into right field. Jose Iglesias comes home from 3rd, and Connor Joe slides in safely after sprinting home from 2nd as the Rockies would go on to win the series finale with a 6-2 win. All right, it's time for us to take a timeout, but we're done talking about sports on the diamond because there is some breaking news about a college basketball star who's returning for another season. Plus, the Michigan State wheelchair floorball team is about to represent the United States on the world stage, and our Ian Kress has an awesome story that you're only going to find right here on 6 News. It's coming up next, so stay with us.
This is 6 News Now, here for you 24 hours a day, online at WLNS.com.
There was a heavy police presence on the north side of Lansing this afternoon for a possible drowning. It's our top story at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Olshah. The Lansing Police Department spent the afternoon at the Brenke Fish Ladder Park on the Grand River. Several dozen law enforcement officials were there, including the dive team. 6 News reporter Shamir Owens was on the scene. She's here for you now in the studio. And Shamir, what did you see?
Sarah, I saw divers in the water and dozens of other law enforcement officers stationed by the Grand River. This was at Burchard Park, specifically near the Brenke Fish Ladder by the Lansing River Trail. Lansing Police Department, the Lansing Fire Department, the Coroner's Office, as well as the Crime Scene Investigation Unit were all on the scene. Because it was an active scene, no one was able to give any details about what happened, but I saw what appeared to be a body covered by a tarp loaded into the coroner's van. We currently have calls out to LPD to get more details about this incident, but have not heard back yet. We will keep you updated on air and online and on our 6 News app.
Introducing our new redesigned 6 News mobile app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content, and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video, and a red light alert badge notifies you when we're streaming. Download or update our new local news app today. 6 News, here for you.
Welcome back, everyone. The most important player on the Michigan Wolverines men's basketball team is sophomore Hunter Dickinson. And many of us thought that he was going to declare for the NBA draft, and we'd seen his last game in a Michigan jersey when the Wolverines lost to Villanova in the Sweet 16. But this evening, the Michigan basketball team tweeted out this message saying that he's returning for one more year in Ann Arbor. This past season, Dickinson almost averaged a double-double with 19 points and 9 rebounds per game. The 7-footer was projected to possibly be a first-round draft pick, not just because of his size, but also his ability to show his dominance in the post. Speaking of college sports, there's a lot of traveling that comes with being a college athlete. And as our Ian Kress shares with us, the Michigan State wheelchair floorball team will have the ultimate travel experience when it heads to Switzerland this week.
Ready? Play.
Similar to hockey, the goal in wheelchair floorball is to score using a stick.
Hey, keep playing, nice goal count. The same number of players, you also got a net and a goalie, right? You're using hockey sticks. There are a couple different rules, but that's probably the closest sport.
The Spartans will board a plane for Switzerland on Tuesday to compete in the Swiss Wheelie Open. MSU is one of 7 teams from 6 countries competing, and the Spartans will be the only ones from the United States.
Everyone wants to play for the university. It's cool to be representing not only Michigan State, but the United States. I didn't think I'd have this opportunity, let alone floorball. It's just a really cool opportunity.
Now, this opportunity to represent both the university and the entire country won't be the Spartans' first time doing so. It was back in 2019. They made a trip to the Netherlands to compete in floorball as well.
We got involved in this one because of the teams that we met over there in 2019, the national teams host their own tournaments in their respective countries, and they invited us.
I jumped at the opportunity because who gets to go to Switzerland to play wheelchair hockey? Not many people.
What also made this trip possible was the support of Michigan State and sponsorships from the community that help pay for some of the expenses.
Students with disabilities are able to take advantage of competitive sports like they weren't able to do before, just like able-bodied students can, representing the university, which is super cool in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
In East Lansing, Ian Kress, 6 Sports.
Well, thank you, Ian. In women's college golf, the final round of the Big Ten Championship was this afternoon. The Michigan State women's golf team was trying to defend its conference crown, but the rival Michigan Wolverines were able to hold off the Spartans to win their first conference title in program history. The Spartans falling just 5 strokes behind Michigan, defending their Big Ten title. That's all the time we have for tonight's show. From all of us here at WLNS, we thank you for watching and hope you have a great night.